go one more time.
I went to sleep late, but I woke up early. Kissed the game goodbye, baby, good night, Shirley. Pride problems and swallowed it, even dealt with a lot of it. Had to put up with politics, never even acknowledged it. I just kept on grinding and knew that the people's with me. Even dealt with some hate inside of my own city, but I rise above it, didn't think nothing of it. I made music for the people and everybody loved it. Good night, Shirley, good night, good night. 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 I went to sleep late, but I woke up early. Kiss the game goodbye, baby, good night, Shirley. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night. I'm sick and tired, Lord, I'm trying to change. To tell the truth, I finally said goodbye to the game. Eyes bloodshot red, I'm high as a parasail. Yeah, my fat ass made a living off a fucking set of scale. And I remember back when we was out here, we was broke. We ain't had nothing going, so we had to sell dope. When we used to hit the studio, they thought we was a joke. Nobody could have predicted that this shit would finally close. Yeah, we came up from the gutters, I mean close to the trap. And by the bottom, I be down there with the roaches and rats. Now that I got a little money, I don't know how to act. My city love me back when I ain't even know how to rap. Good night, Shirley. Good night, good night. Good night, Shirley. Good night, good night. Good night, good night. Good night, good night. I went